and welcome back to Spinnorality. I had only intended to make one video on Spinnorality, but I decided that I wanted to... We had just gotten to a point where I could talk about what I wanted to talk about when I first started playing this game, so I am going to play a second session of this game. I am going to make a second video. I don't know how long this particular video is going to be. Probably just as long as it takes for me to get in and to talk about what I initially had wanted to talk about, and I left it off with a cliffhanger because, you know, you gotta have a cliffhanger in there somewhere, as to whether or not I was going to go the good route or the evil route when it came to what type of social media company we were going to be. Are we going to be the sort that creates an echo chamber, or are we going to be the sort that does not? But if you could probably tell, I was leaning towards being evil so that I could talk about this sort of inoculation theory and the research that I initially read that got me excited, that led me to find this game to begin with. I didn't initially find this game, despite the fact that I was playing Silicon Dreams. I found this game by accident and then found out that they were by the same people. So we are going to show users more of what they like and see what happens. Republic's algorithm, a weapon of math destruction. Middle East succumbs to echo chamber effect. Toxic discourse intensifies. Oh dear. So we have done bad things in the world, and this is not surprising. We expected that this was going to happen. Oh, we can see the moon. I didn't realize we could see the moon. Are we going to be able to colonize the moon? That would be fantastic. And so now we can launch. Can we launch more campaigns? So for example, we're never alone, we're our friendships, our family, our lovers, let us help you, bring you together. So, can we find some place that's really high in collectivism to launch that one? That was our first ever... Oh wait, I think we've already launched something in a highly collectivistic culture. Oh, they're saying that North America is very high in collectivism? No, King Tavis, they say that North America is very high in collectivism. Or the Middle East is very high in collectivism. So, yeah, it's just, I didn't think that. I am going to go with the Middle East and see if it will now let me launch You're Never Alone there. Okay, good, it did. So I'm going to see if that gives me more profit at some point from my social media campaign. I don't seem to have sales or anything, right? I have wages, corruption, fixed costs, and then that's it in terms of... I wonder what I'm paying in terms of corruption. It didn't tell me I was paying any bribes. It didn't let me decide whether or not to pay bribes. And so I'm not sure. Oh, this is telling me what my victory conditions are. I guess I should have paid attention to the fact that I had victory conditions. A humane victory is leaving the world arguably better than I found it. Well, I'm definitely not going there already. New world victory, corporations are the future, next step in human civilization, revolutionize the world and remake it in a corporate image. A consumerism victory, people will think they're free, but a government is a sham. You have to have them democratic, but not very many taxes. And subject their emotions and their attention to carefully directed manipulation. This is probably where I'm at, right? Or an imperial victory. Propaganda and brutality. So imperial victory and consumerism are probably where I'm at. And King Tavis has proposed that we are on an alternate Earth, and I agree, because the nations of North America, when we look at cross-cultural psychology and when we look at sociological research, we are seeing we are seeing individualism. This is not, I just don't think that you've added enough collectivistic cultures into the broader North America in order to create this skewed of a collectivism scale. Right, I could see it unless we are incredibly far in the future, where we have a population shift, and that's what King Savis is proposing, is a population shift in each of these cultures. But in which case, we have an alternate future, and we can't make any assumptions about any of these locations on the basis of what we know about them today, and any of the research that we know today. So I think I've done everything I can this turn. We're in winter 2061. King Tavis, we're not actually that far in the future. I just realized that we have a date. It's winter 2061. So what I want to do while we're messing around in here is I do want to talk about... Oh, the moon goes around. It goes around to tell me where we're at. Just noticed that cool feature. And I'm profitable. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. For those of you who are new to the channel, Jedi getting distracted is not surprising at all. I've managed to boost up my sales enough and keep corruption down enough that I now have a net profit. Go me. I do have to hire people, though, because I have run out of workers. And it has come to the board's attention that the following task is of the utmost importance and should be undertaken as soon as possible. I need to research artificial intelligence. They're very upset with me that I haven't researched artificial intelligence. I have a job application from a skilled and appropriate candidate. They would be a good fit for our company, willing to start immediately. Great, because I need employees. The people of our world are complex, different, and beautiful. Welcome to the one place they all hang out. Didn't we already read that? Social media never alone. The board approval has risen slightly. This approval can exceed the maximum amount. The board are impressed with what I did without a focus test. Yes, go me! Go me, I'm so good. So what I need to do is hire workers, and I would like to hire some employees, please, and some interns. I can get my interns in quickly, and hopefully they will like me, but I also want to hire some employees. My workers are not having too much unrest right now, and they're pretty happy with me because I didn't put ads in their stuff. So you know what? Let's hire both at the maximum, and that will be that. Now, my ad campaigns seem to have stopped at this point, so I think I need to relaunch them. And all I have are social... Oh, I'm not researching anything. Oh, yes, I am. I'm researching posting tips. I do have one additional worker that I can dedicate to this to make it go faster. So that's good. And speed that up a little bit. And then launch additional campaigns, I guess. And so while I'm doing that, I want to talk about some research that I read about that led me to find this game and then realize that it was made by the same folks who made a game that I was very excited about. And that is... Oh, wait, I have a new one. The people of the world are complex, different, and beautiful. Welcome to the one place they all hang out. Well, that sounds like multiculturalism and collectivism. I think that this in the United States is a good place to be. Let's do this here and see how this goes. Let's launch this here, and then let's launch another... Can I do the same campaign in the same place twice? Oh, that's been checked off. Check. I wonder why these are checked. Is it because I've done... Oh, it's because I've done a focus group on them before. King Tavis wants to know, have we looked at Europe's stats? I think we've glanced at them, but we didn't really pay close attention. So Europe is high in material wealth and publicity. And I don't think I have anything that really is all about material wealth and publicity. This is all about new technologies and the cutting edge. This is convenience, and this is collectivism. So I don't really have anything that Europe is interested in yet in terms of ad campaigns. And so I don't really have... I've run the same ad campaign, but I think because I'm waiting on things, I might as well just run the same ad campaigns again. And they point out that they are shockingly low in multiculturalism and that perhaps Brexit started a trend. They aren't really high in novelty. Let's see if there's anywhere else that is high in novelty? These are a little bit. South Africa is a little bit high in novelty. Obviously not as high as Asia, but I want to give them some love. Send some love this way. So we're going to which one is novelty? Here. We're going to have them stay up to date and launch that there. And then we're going to relaunch the convenience-based... Did I launch the wrong thing? Oh no, they've already got this campaign going on here. Either that or I did launch the wrong thing. Oh no. Oh no, yes, they've got the Stay Up to Date campaign. Excellent, okay. That was almost bad. And they've got the... Okay, so it checks off what you've already done in that area. I see. So you can't redo it once you've started a campaign in an area. So I'm going to add those two, but I don't want to add a campaign that's not going to do any good. Oh, they're okay with collectivism. Let's see if I can add in Never Alone to them. Yeah, King Tavis says, I almost wish they would create a fictional planet so that the stats couldn't be reconciled against the real world. And that's kind of true. But I actually think that if they created a fictional planet, that it wouldn't achieve what I wanted to. I'm gonna get to it now, what I wanted to talk about this game for. The research that I saw that I wanted to talk about this game for, and that I thought was fairly exciting, was research that... okay, I need employees. Was research that looked at how we can make it so that people do not fall victim to fake news. And that is research that wonders, how can we protect ourselves from believing fake news and therefore believing false things? And so this is asking me, by the way, if I want to hire all of my interns. I'm currently making a hefty profit and need employees, so I think I'm going to. This will make me lose one class connection. I have no clue what class connections are. Military, class, cyber, authority. How much you sway over, you have the company's long-term strategy. All it tells me is authority. Like, I have no idea what class connections are. I have no problem losing a class connection in order to do this. Let's promote them all. Now my workers should be very happy. Yep, my workers are all very happy, which is good. Happy workers are good. My finances are still fine, just fine. And so now I can go in and bolster my research a little bit. There we go. So that is all it takes to drop that to 2 to 3. How many more? I have 9 more. So I can come over here to artificial intelligence and throw them here, and that will also be 2 to 3. So in 2 to 3 turns, if I sacrifice one of those, so we're going to balance this out. Okay, so the research that I was looking at was looking at how do we inoculate people against the effects of fake news so that we don't end up believing false things. Because a lot of the time when we learn false information, we don't remember where we learned that information from, and therefore it becomes dangerous, right? Because even if we subsequently learn that the information was false, that information is still in our heads, and we have sort of source amnesia where we don't remember where we learned it from, and we often forget whether or not the information is true or false, and we start believing and continuously believe this false information. And that's not good, right? We don't want people believing false information. We don't want ourselves believing false information. And so having ways that we can sort of never believe the information to begin with, instead of having to try to undo a belief in false information, is a better process, right? We're better off never believing the false thing to begin with, rather than believing it all the time. Oh look, we already have all of the marketing angles that we can for social media. I wonder if that means that we can come over here and pull people off of this. 0% idea chance. So No, apparently I can't pull people off of this. Have I run Never Alone here before? Oh, no, apparently I have. It's never a time to promote yourself. Get posting. That is a publicity one. Okay, so let's find some place that likes publicity. And King Tavis is proposing that one of the ways that we can eliminate the problems of believing false information is to do things like break social taboos around critical discussion. And that is absolutely one way to achieve this goal, but it's not what this research was talking about. What this research did was develop a video game. And that video game is the fake news game. And in the fake news game, you own a conglomerate. They want to post too. Post. You own a corporation that is trying to, it doesn't even specify if you're a corporation. Your goal is simply to have followers and to seem credible. Not to actually be credible, mind you, to seem credible. And so you don't necessarily have to be credible in this instance. And so the idea is that you want to create a situation where your credibility is high, and you have to sort of think about what sorts of stories you would share on your social media if you were to gather followers, right? And so these might be sensationalist stories, the sorts of things that people will share around so that other people learn about you and know more about you. And then also, though, you don't want to go too far out there, right? Because if you go too far out there, then you end up with people not believing you, and then you get rejected. Oh, yeah. I missed Russia entirely. Sorry, Russia. I didn't mean it. I don't know how I missed you with my campaigns. Sorry about that. And how are my profits doing? Let's hire some more people. I can't hire some more people. Why not? Isn't this where I hire people? That's the board of directors. Workforce, here we go. I hired all the interns. Let's hire more interns. Everybody's happy. Ooh, worker unrest. Rises slowly. The higher your profits and the larger your workforce, the faster it rises. And there will be a chance your organic workers will strike, doing no work in return. How high worker salaries are at present compared with the amount you were paying them at the start of the game only applies to human and augmented workers. Worker unrest rises slowly. The higher your profits and the larger your workforce, the faster it rises. So you can't stop it from going up. You just can make it go up more slowly. Well, that's bollocks. I feel like you should be able to make worker unrest not go up to begin with. They wouldn't get... Hi, baby or bear. So, what this research did was created what's known as a serious game.
What are you playing?
I'm playing Spinnorality. This game is a game about ruling the world. Yeah, right?
That's why you have a whole thing of the earth?
Yes, that's why I have a whole thing of the earth, and right now I am using social media, which is basically like Facebook and Twitter, to try to make money.
Cool.
All right. Yes, how to be Mark Zuckerberg. But Baby or Bear is a little young to know who Mark Zuckerberg is.
Who is Mark Zuckerberg?
He's the person who owns Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's the one who made Facebook.
Yeah, well, he owns Facebook. And so, in this research, they created the fake news game. And in the fake news game, your job is to have this account and to try to get those followers and the influence. And it walks you through a little bit how to do that. A little less than this one, though. You get a lot of choices, and you can explore to figure out how you want to do that in the context of the game. And so, in addition to posting tips, let's start researching public
Just
user
wanted
data.
to see what you were playing.
Yep, this is what I'm playing.
Cool.
One more didn't make a difference there. And, might as well throw that one more there. Alright. I don't want everybody just sitting around doing nothing. How are my finances? I have so many profits. So many profits. We don't need that many profits. But we also don't want people to get mad at us, right? So this goes up the larger our workforce is. Ooh, when you raise salaries, worker unrest drops to 0. Oh, okay. That's good to know. So I can continue hiring people. I don't need a pay raise yet. They only if it rises above 75%, then worker unhappiness drops. Apparently, this is realistic in that you can have a lot of employee disengagement and still be okay, which is what happens. I have no need to weaken the union. I'm just going to raise salaries of my employees when the need calls for it. Because keeping your employees happy is really a smart business decision all across the globe. I think I have applied all of the social media tactics that I can to just about everywhere that it would be smart to do it, right? So I don't want to spend the class connection if I don't want to, if I don't have to. Their novelty is middling. But I wonder if, and I think I've already run, have I already run one world here? Yeah. Okay, I don't need to relaunch a social media campaign every turn. I think if I already have a social media campaign at a location, that I don't need to relaunch it. So if it already has... Oh, so whatever it is I launched here didn't go well. So I launched Never Alone here, and it didn't go well. Very poor success. So I should launch something else here. And try something else. But Stay Up to Date is just, it's very obvious. Right? New tech, new services, new products is very obviously novelty. In fact, the tutorial tells you that that is novelty. Projects can be relaunched many times. Oh, okay, so let's relaunch that because it didn't go well. That did a good job. That did an okay job. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay, now I know how to quickly read that. I just had to pay close attention. Yeah, we've done a good job everywhere. South Africa's kind of middling. What did we do in South Africa? We did Stay Up to Date in South Africa, but that really does seem to be our best bet. Collectivism is really low in one world, and that does appear to be a secondary... Oh, nope, cancel that. Stop that. Oh, I'm so glad it allowed me to undo that. Let's relaunch that and see how that goes. I suddenly just heard... It suddenly just started playing music, and I think... I don't know why the music just started. I don't even know if it started loud enough so that you folks can hear it, because I had the music turned down, but I find that interesting. A major gala event will be held tonight, and we have received an invitation for a company rep. It would be a good opportunity to network and build contacts. Who should we send? Security? Official rep? Or one of our tech specialists? But I keep spending class connections. So King Tavis is suggesting that I should send a military person because we have an imperial goal. And so we have to have one-party states, influence with the ruling party of every nation, and victory points. I have no clue how to get victory points. Are these, I don't know if they appear to be victory points. Versus consumerism. Humans are easily led, people will think they're free, but their governments will be a sham, their attention will be carefully directed, and even their emotions will be subject to manipulation. And I just think that's what I'm better at, right? Tech specialist for the technocrat goal. think about the win you want. So the company rep is probably the consumerism person. And this so far says that I have 0 out of 15 of both of those right. Achieve these goals to receive an authority award. All nations have their laws at minimum. You have 99% power in aviation. You own at least this. You have successful... Yeah, that does seem... Well, there were only 3 options, though. So there isn't one person for each win condition, because there are 4 win conditions and only 3 options here. I'm thinking in terms of what do I keep spending in order to continue to make money. No, so King Tavis suggests that I delete the email, but according to the tutorial, I cannot advance to the next day until I have made a choice on this, until I've selected something. So you cannot simply choose to delete the email. I suppose I could experiment with that and mess up my game, right? Because deleting the email is not what I want to do. I want to either send a security person or official company rep. But we could, for science, try to advance the day without having sent anybody, just for the sake of knowing what happens. And I may actually do that. I actually think that that's what I'm going to do. Because if I were to actually be playing this game for myself, I would be taking a humanitarian approach. Now that I realize that that is an approach, that's the sort of gameplay that I tend to enjoy, and the sort of challenge that I tend to enjoy. So I actually may see if I can advance this day without sending anyone, just to see if it can work. So in this research, going back to this research, I'm going to finish up what I was doing here and then try to advance this day. Going back to this research that I read, they created this. You're learning how to be a social media mogul, essentially, and how to influence people's beliefs on social media, get followers while maintaining credibility. And they have you gradually gain followers over time while spreading conspiracy theories and fake news. And you gain a series of 6 badges over the course of the game as you do things like, so you start out small. You start off with things like impersonation. So they teach you about how to impersonate, a real account. And so you learn how to impersonate somebody and how to glom on to essentially their fame and their success in order to gain your followers and spread misinformation by using that person's success and that person's the notoriety, if you're glomming onto somebody who's already notorious, or simply the fame of somebody else using this technique. And this is common, right, on social media platforms, to pretend to be a celebrity or a politician or something like that. And then the second badge, so let's see if this works. Oh, nope, see, it won't let me go without clicking something. So King Tavis is suggesting that sending an official company rep is probably the consumer goal and possibly the humane goal. And since that's where I think I want to go to, in terms of my agenda, the consumerism, I think this is where I don't think we're going to start inciting riots and trying to get people to have one-party states. I think consumerism and getting people to buy what we tell them to buy is where we're going to go here. I think that that's where we're going to go with the answer to this question. But now we know for sure I have to make a choice on this one and send an official company rep. The board is impressed that I launched post without a focus test, and so the board likes me. So we can see how much the board likes me and how much confidence that they have for me. I have some bad PR, so I've lost some approval due to bad PR. I have no clue what bad PR I'm getting. I have no clue how to check and see where I'm getting bad PR from, but apparently I'm getting some bad PR. And, oh, I hadn't even noticed that. King Tavis notes that there are some speculative death dates of when they think they are going to die. And they don't want to. They want to be immortal. And so I am doing what you want me to do. So we'll see how that goes. So then they went through another badge. The next badge that you earn is an emotional provocation badge. So this badge is all about creating an emotional message and grabbing people by their emotions, fear, anger, empathy, and all of that. And pardon me, this tutorial explains how sales and profits are calculated and what might affect them. Open the research window. The amount of work needed to finish a project is the labor cost. Some projects need more research than others. For example, social media labor cost is 10, but business trackings is 20. The more workers it takes to research a technology, the more valuable the technology. Now select a nation. Wait, hold on. So this needs 3 employees. Each nation has a prosperity chaos. Hold on. Slider. This shows how prosperous a nation is, how close it is to total anarchy. The more prosperous the nation, the more money your tech will make there. Oh dear, South Africa. If the slider is at maximum prosperity, products will make twice as much as if it were on the brink of chaos. Once a product has been launched, that product's income will drop over time as people lose interest. You can boost income by relaunching, but each launch will be less effective than the last. Ooh, good to know. Each product that is currently making money adds to your fixed cost. If you would prefer not to pay those costs, you will have to trash the project. Close the nations window. Aye, aye, Captain. You can now see how well your tech has launched with the marketing interface. Oh, look at that. Click a product in the marketing interface to see how well that product has been doing. The globe now shows where this project has been launched and how successfully. You can see marketing angles here and conduct focus tests. You can also launch products here. Oh, that'll be much easier. Click a slogan. This one. You can now click on a nation to launch the product with the selected slogan. This is sometimes more convenient than launching from the nations window. Tutorial complete. Reward $1 million. Great. Thank you for rewarding me for watching that. Is that all because I finished AI and have a second product now? But I don't think I did finish AI because this has requirements. It requires 5 of these. Okay, so I see. It required a certain number of them and I hadn't given them. So, okay, all of them have their required numbers now. That's good. I see. I wasn't paying attention to those. And yes, so the 3-star success in South Africa wasn't because I messed up my campaign, it's because it's chaotic there. And the same thing might be true here. I have no clue what control I might have over the chaos. Oh no, the same thing is not true here. They are not chaotic. Whatever it is I am doing in South America just isn't good. I am just not launching useful things in South America. Never Alone seemed like the best choice. But maybe it's not. Maybe I need to launch something else. So let's try that. So now I can check again and see all of the general. So I can check and make sure that I have launched all of the places. That's great. And I've done everything that I need to do. I can check on my finances and see that I have a healthy profit still. So I can go to my workforce, see that they're still doing pretty well, and I can hire all the people that I want. Excellent. So yeah, so the next badge has to do with emotional provocation and writing an emotional post and grabbing people by their emotions. And research has demonstrated that if you have an emotional message, people are going to pay more attention to it than if you have a purely logical or rational message. Then they have badges related to group polarization and creating an us versus them mentality, and we've talked about that before in previous videos, and for creating conspiracy theories, discrediting opponents, so going on the offense when somebody is trying to attack you, and trolling people, trying to get a rise out of others and then mocking them for getting the rise out of them. So it's all about the techniques that people are using online against you, right? So these are the sorts of techniques that might be used against me. Oh no, I just accidentally closed something that I didn't want to close. Can I? Following nations of minor cultural shifts, the people of North America are increasingly relying on online tools, VR chats, to connect with others. This has encouraged them to rely on self-publicity. sporting culture in the Middle East has become more focused on individual talents. Uptick in individualism. Companies have been launched, an uptick in high-quality brands across South America. New hires. One work group has been delayed due to inefficiency here at Republic. Our scientists... Oh, yeah, but what about that thing with an exclamation point that I accidentally closed? Oh, Lord, that's not good. Well, that's going to come and bite us in the butt. Our scientists have identified a new line of research. Pursuing it would yield giant gains, but put a strain on the company. Don't take the risk. No. We've already been losing money because of inefficiency. No, we're not doing that right now. So what they found, right, is that as people went through this game and learned how to earn these badges and learned how to create a following, because what you did is oh, see you later, King Tavis, sleep well. As you learned how to gain followers and as you learned how to gain influence, that's how you created your final score within that game, was to gain all of those experiences and to gain followers and influence. And what they found was that when somebody went through that game, that they got better at spotting fake news. And the way they measured this was at the very beginning of the game. After somebody started playing it, they put a screen up and requested that they participate in research. And they said, do you want to participate in my research study? And asked for informed consent. If you said no, you still got to play the game. The game is free. It's available online. You can go play it now. I've linked it in the description. Because you know the results of the game as you're listening to this, don't participate in the research. You could bias the findings, right? But definitely go play the game. It's fantastic. So then they would measure. They would give them different news findings, and some of them were true and some of them were not true. And they would ask them to rate on a 7-point scale how believable they were. How much do you believe that this is true? How reliable do you find this news finding to be? And then what they did was they had them go through this game and play the game and see how well they did in the game, right? You can get a score at the end of the game. Your score had to do with the number of followers and credibility, and that can be put together to create a final score. How well did you do the game? How good are you at doing the things the game asked you to do? And so what they found is that the better an individual get at a game, and the people who went through the game, after they were done with the game, they were better at spotting fake news. They were better at noticing which of the headlines were false and rated them as less believable and less plausible than they did before they played the game, before they engaged in this exercise. That is, they experienced what's sometimes known as inoculation. That is that when they were given the opportunity to provide small-scale refutations to a potential argument and small-scale ability to notice certain aspects of an argument, it made them better at refuting the argument in its larger form as well. And give me just one sec. I'm just going to read through these. I have the AI project now. 2 interns have handed in their resignation complaining that they've eaten nothing for cat food for 2 weeks straight. Every time an employee leaves or go on spikes, Republic gains inefficiency. 1 work group has been delayed posting tips. This is due to the level of inefficiency. How can I see my level of inefficiency? Like, that's interesting. Following tasks of the utmost importance. Build a war chest and hoard $40 million. Due to mounting infrastructure goals costs, the nation of South America is at risk of losing stability unless they receive a large capital injection. Nation's government would normally provide this capital but are unable to do so at the present. Invest the money ourselves, give the ruling part of the money so they can invest it. Let's invest the money ourselves. Oh wait, I was supposed to be saving money. The following task is of the utmost importance. Build a war chest. Okay, and then this. AI in the workplace. Republic release AI workers. This is the future of work. Watch automation. Does that mean I can hire AI workers? Yes. And I can hire some employees. So let's hire AI workers and employees, but we're not going to hire any more interns. In fact, we're going to fire a few. Okay. Now, I've got employees back over here. And they want me to research. They want me to research a war chest? Is that a thing? No, I think they just want me to gain money. I think that's the thing. In order to get posting tips up and running, I need 18. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 18. Okay. So now this has enough of these, and it needs one AI worker. Okay. And it needs 7 of those. Okay, so now all of my workers are where they're supposed to be. I have no more workers now, and I can take care of that. So that was the exciting research that made me seek out this game. I was looking for a game that helped to, that looked at social media, that gave you specifically, it allowed you to control social media or be in control of a corporation that was trying to manipulate people. That was what I was looking for. And actually, the way that I ended up finding this game is I was looking for other research, or excuse me, I was looking for the fake news game itself. And originally, I was looking places like Steam and itch.io and was including those in my search terms, and I don't even remember what combination of search terms ended up creating a situation where I found this one, where I found this particular game. But I did, and I thought that it was interesting and that I wanted to share it with others. And I thought that it was interesting and wanted to share that information with folks here on the channel and talk about it here. And since Baby Bear was asking me to stream, and I had this plan, I wanted to talk to you about the research that had been conducted and the idea that you can be trained, you can engage in a training that can help you become better at detecting and therefore not believing fake news. And it didn't matter. They did measure people's political ideology and their beliefs as part of going into this study. And at the pretest, there were no differences, by the way. There weren't groups that were better or worse, and you couldn't say, men are better at this, or women are better at this, or the right wing or the left wing are better or worse at detecting fake news at the beginning of the study. That's not there. The confirmation bias is there in all of us, and it didn't matter which group it was. The inoculation effect and the ability to train to be able to detect fake news and get better at noticing when emotional manipulation is being used or when trolling is being used, and to notice these sorts of tactics being used and then not engage with that information in the same way, and then to be skeptical of that information. That was improved by engaging with this game. And it's a class of games known as serious games, games that are actually teaching a message. But it was a fun game, and I'd like to see more games like that. I think that this game is going to be that sort of game when it comes to corporate manipulation. So you're already seeing it here, right, in terms of what's going on social media and the sorts of social media campaigns that we can choose between and the sorts of control of algorithms that it's asked us to engage with, and the sorts of things our company has been asked to do in terms of investing money in South America's infrastructure. And it's told us already that South America being prosperous is good for our bottom line. And so now we have started investing in a nation because it's financially viable for us. And so starting to think about corporations in that way, and that those sorts of motivations on the part of corporations may start to, because we're playing this game, may actually turn around and start to get us to think critically about the real world as well. And simulation games in general and serious games in particular really have the opportunity to do that. So it's really cool to see a game like this. I really think that you should check it out. Also check out Silicon Dreams, because I had a lot of fun playing that demo. I'm going to be playing the full game at some point because I found it very engaging. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them, and you can subscribe, like, all of those things. You know what you're doing. And I will see you next time.